throughout the year. So many things going on through the year of 2023. Let's start with that. You guys got some big some budget plans here, and it seems like they're finalized now. What's the word on that?
Yeah, so for the past several months, I'd say we start back in July. We started looking at some of the things that obviously are needed with increases in the budget, and we work quite a bit monthly with the county board and the finance committee and things like that. We had some exciting things come through this year that we started some time back. The county board was more than willing to look at everything from numbers to just open discussion as to a need that would be helpful to not only the citizens, but internally within the department. We've operated with the same amount of roster for guys covering the road for 23 years now. And obviously we've had an increase in crime, more paper services, things like that. So we really had an open dialogue about increasing that service to the county by adding an additional staffing member to cover the road and work as an additional deputy. That will go that coverage that we now provide. Previous in years was 12 to cover the road. That'll give us up to 13 now. And when needed, myself, the sheriff, and 2 investigators will step in there. But I will say the county board was more than willing to listen to some of the things. And we talked about everything from finances and narrowed it down to, in the end, it's a really competitive market to retain and keep officers with retention. And we looked at how over time, some of your senior officers start getting these more contractual vacation time away from work, which then in turn forces guys to have to be basically mandated where you think you have a day off, and for coverage, we would still go into mandate time. So overall, it was a win. The county board, thankfully, I'd like to thank all of them for spending the time to listen to and see everything. We looked at what we serve per capita. We look at how we could ultimately reduce the overtime that was being invested in these mandated hirebacks. And in the end, I think we all collectively agreed that for retention of seasoned employees, we've got a great group of individuals that work for the county. I couldn't ask for, better employees, but we want to keep those employees, and you can't keep them if you are constantly making them work hirebacks. This new position is going to allow us to take it on as a float position that will bounce back and forth, covering a multitude of shifts to cover things like days off, doctor's appointments, sick time. And in the end, it'll just be good for officer health and mental awareness and well-being, to not be overworked.
Totally. Big win here for the Christian County Sheriff's Department. This is another piece of manpower right here, adding to the roster. And this is big right here. Can we get a little bit of a breakdown of where the deputies are right now and what their operations are daily? Because I know they're not all just out on the road.
Yeah. So we, for instance, the city of Taylorville, last I knew, they had 23 sworn officers. And when I say sworn officers, that usually starts at the top down. Okay. So the sheriff's office prior to this was at 17. That would include 2 administrators, myself and the sheriff. Then you have a court security. One of the positions is a head of court security. Then you narrow it down to 2 investigators. One currently works in the Illinois State Task Force. And then from there, that leaves you with 12 deputies. 12 deputies to cover, and that was 4 on midnights, 4 on the evening shift, 3 during the day, and 1 floater. Now we will go up to 18 for sworn officers, and it'll give us an additional floater. So it's a lot to cover with minimal staffing. There's days where, if somebody takes and you want, when you have such a great group of guys, you want them to have their time off. The guys and gals that put the time in deserve and earn. I don't know that there's anybody that doesn't want their benefit or vacation time, things that week, and so their scheduled days off. And with that, there's times where we run on a skeleton crew, sometimes during the day, where there's only 1 deputy on. And by taking on this floater or this additional position, I think with working with the county board, they was able to see that, by putting this on, it's also an officer safety thing. We should not, it should allow us to never be in the position where we've got 1 deputy on. We should now cover the road with 2, which is a great asset to have.
Without a doubt. Deputies have doctor's appointments as well. They need vacation time.
Absolutely. I say if you and it's no different than, They eat lunch and dinner just like everybody else is, over the time. People look at it's like, well, what are they doing? And they get their 15-minute break before and a lunch break and a 15-minute lunch hour, and their job's no different than anybody else out here listening.
Right. It's
So
just it can be a little bit more stressful sometimes, I would say.
But there again, I'd like to stress that when they start looking at it, they have to look. They've got a responsibility to be fiscally responsible to their district, the people that have voted them in there, and they've done a great job of listening to it. And we've come to a way to increase it by 1. And I want to thank all of them for the time they spent to see that.
Without a doubt, absolutely a big win once again for the Christian County Sheriff's Department. Getting a new man or woman on that roster, it's going to really put some operations at ease there, and just get another man out on the road, or woman, of course. That is a really great win right there. So moving aside from that, we got some wintertime things to cover here, because we got to make sure the community is safe. Not too cold right now. We got this El Nino weather pattern rolling in right here, but it will get cold at some point here. How can we be prepared out on the road here so we don't need to be calling you up shivering and hoping for a savior there?
Well, if we're lucky, we won't have too horrible weather. And you're right. It's hard to think about these things ahead of time, but preparation's the key. We want to be prepared ahead of time. And some of the things we talk about through the year on the radio is just, it's not, I don't want to say repetitive, but it's a reminder.
Yeah.
And this would be a reminder that now is the time for vehicle winter preparation. And by that, I mean, if you think back, you've always got the things that you're going to put, in your car. Most of us are all going to carry a scraper. I recommend getting a scraper that's a long handled, that's got a wide mouth on it. It doubles as a shovel, and the reason a shovel is, you may not shovel yourself out of a ditch, but you want to make sure that if you end up in the ditch, some of the things we want to remember, and maybe even remind our young adolescents driving, that we want to clear that tailpipe. You don't want the snow plugged up there while you're waiting for that tow truck. Something as simple as having a long-handled ice scraper to remove the exhaust so you don't get the carbon dioxide inside the vehicle. Beyond that, when you're standing out there doing that, if it's a heavy, wet snow, have a towel in there. Have a towel to dry your head off. That's going to keep that hypothermia down, especially if your vehicle's not running. And obviously things like a blanket, hat and gloves. I tell people, keep hand warmers. If you've got young kids in there, there's nothing more than breaking open something as fun as, hey, well, we're waiting on a tow truck or help. Crack open some hand warmers, shake them up, let those kids see. It's kind of neat that their hands warm up. One of the other big things, we all have a flashlight on your phone, a phone charger, things of that nature, snacks for the kids, bottles of water. You can put all that in there. And then at the end of the year, you could take it out. One of the big things that I always recommend, if they're willing to go full tilt and get the full package, get a box of kitty litter. Kitty litter in the car, and most people will be like, well, why would I have kitty litter? If you think of times like ice-covered roadways, and you're in the parking lot at Walmart, and you can't back up because of the ice, throwing something as simple as throwing a cup of kitty litter under the tire gets you traction and get out. And then at the end of the year, if it's not used or anything left over, bring it out to the Christian County Animal Control. They would be glad to take that donation, that kitty litter. And, maybe you towed it around all year and say, well, that was a waste, but hey, at least you didn't get stuck, on an inclined. It would be kind of embarrassing to have to wait. I don't want to say embarrassing. It would be more of an inconvenience to wait for help if you're parked on the inclined chute. Sometimes even on the square, it's your vehicle's downhill, and some good ice, you're going to get stuck there. So kitty litter would resolve that.
Great creative tips right there. I've never heard of the kitty litter little trick right there. And I'm thinking about my tires burying themselves deeper and deeper in the snow even. I bet you that could work if you drizzle a whole lot, probably gain some traction right there. That's and the exhaust pipe plugging up with snow. Another fact that I've never thought of before, that long handle of an ice scraper can clear that out. And that could really avoid some big problems right there for you. Chief Deputy, we're set to take a little break right here, but I've been loving the advice right here for safety on the roadways and safety in your car preparation for the winter time. We can be rest assured that cold temperatures can arrive, January, February. It'll happen at some point. We're going to take ourselves a little break. We're sitting down right now with Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Department. My name's Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
Does your bank offer rewards on your qualified signature-based debit card purchases? If not, then we need to talk. Hi, this is McKenna Duggar with People's Bank and Trust. Join the growing number of our customers who are earning cash back on all qualifying debit card purchases. You already use your debit card. Now make it work for you with Save by Spending rewards from People's Bank and Trust. Earning rewards is as easy as shop, sign, and save. Call 888-PBT-1954 and find out more about our Save by Spending rewards program today. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your Christian County Health Department has both COVID and flu vaccines available, and both high-dose and regular-dose flu vaccines are in stock. You can get both the COVID and flu vaccine shots at the same time, and there are a handful of egg-free flu vaccines available. Call the Christian County Health Department now for your appointment at 217-824-4113. That's 824-4113. Your Christian County Health Department is always working for a healthier future.
May your happiness be as warm as children's laughter. May your holidays be filled with peace and love. This is a holiday greeting from Christian County Senior Citizens, 701 West Adams Street in Taylorville. May your home be blessed with a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Happy holidays from everyone at Christian County Senior Citizens. Over the years, Lily Signs, 2227 West Russer in Taylorville, have built up quite a business. And it's all thanks to you. Lily Signs in Taylorville thinks that it's an appropriate time during this season of Peace on Earth to thank all of you for your goodwill to them.
Brian Barnhart here, the voice of the Fighting Illini. Fighting Illini Nation to listen for Fighting Illini sports this season on New Country 104.1. From every kickoff during football season to the closing horn of every basketball game, you'll hear them in Christian County and surrounding area on your home for Fighting Illini sports, New Country 104.1. Follow the orange and blue and go Illini.
Brought to you by Prairie Farms Dairy. Bob Ridings of Pena and Adam Jeffrey with Craig's Realtors in Taylorville.
This is Jenny Turvey, manager of Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville. To learn more about our apartments, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Jansen's Heating and Air is the home of Dr. Comfort, focusing on customer care for heating and air conditioning across Central Illinois for some 35 years. Find out their services, specials, and coupons by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to WTIM, your information station. I'm your host of WTIM's morning show, Tim Zalabak. Thank you so much to our sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. We got Chief Deputy of the Christian County Sheriff's Department, Jim Baker, in the studio today. We just found out we got tons of stuff to cover in this second half, so we're going to hop right into it here. Driving in the Christmas and New Year's time, it can get a little bit dicey. People are out there partying and such. What are your messages for these people?
Yeah, I'd like to start out by saying just a reminder, and I always tell people, remind your new drivers. Those bridges are going to cover with ice or dew or sleet, things of that nature, sooner than anything else. You can be driving down a dry roadway, and the next thing you know, that air flowing underneath that bridge is going to cause that bridge to frost over. Yeah. So be aware of that. And as usual, just like I said, a repeat reminder, there's going to be a lot more traffic on the roadways through the holidays. We want people to go out, have a good time, enjoy the upcoming New Year, the events such as New Year. We've been fortunate that the last couple heavy drinking holidays, Christian County's been fortunate that we haven't had any basically it's working, no DUIs, things of that nature. We want to stay on track with that. So keep in mind, if you drink, don't drive. Get you that designated driver. So
it's that easy. And these nights like New Year's Eve and Christmas nights, they can get away from you. And even if you do have your car at that spot, someone can pick you up. There are services out there that can help you out. And Absolutely. We did mention right there, I forgot to kind of lead it in like that. But for new drivers and drivers that are very experienced, those bridges that get icy, you can get careless and drive right over that.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah, super. Yeah. So always be careful with that. Right now, 50 degrees out there. Don't have to worry about it too much. But wherever you're traveling, it's coming. Yeah, those bridges can really get iced over, and that can be that can turn your day into a scary one. So any more messages for our drivers out there this season?
No, I think be prepared, get that preparation kit ready, be cautious, and that hopefully we have a safe and happy holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. Switching gears a little bit here, talking about the jail, and there was some remodeling talks. Do we have any timetable on this?
Yeah, so the county board there again decided to go with an architect that worked several months. It's a process. They have to do a core sample of the roof. We labeled it in 3 phases. One was phase 1 being a new roof for the correctional facility itself. Phase 2 would be basically operations and admin stuff moving to a previously owned or a currently owned building that would be the old zoning and waste management building, 214 West Market. That project had some setbacks because we had to wait for those individuals to move to their new location at the courthouse. Things are moving along on that. They'll be moving on the first floor of the courthouse. That gives us opportunity to move in there. We did have a setback. And to wrap up, phase 3 would be any changes or additional safety mitigation within the jail itself, and some of the needed deterioration of the interior structure of the jail. With that being said, we basically had a setback because of a roof company that had provided a bid has gone out of business. So there's a couple setbacks, but we're hoping early spring. The architects tell me they should have the bids and numbers for us to take the first step moving into market, and we'll be waiting on the weather to break to get a new roof. So hopefully March, April, we'll see a lot of traction with that.
That's promising right there. So we won't expect operations to be up and running by early spring, but a move-in process will get started by the spring.
Yeah, they're giving me a projected deadline, hopeful of April.
Cool.
So the April may be a time that we can, and if the bids come in early enough, we're going to post that up there. The architect's going to post it up for bids. Coming up for the remodel, I think, using local contractors, stuff like that. So
how much is involved? And I'm sure there's so many aspects that I'm not even considering, but in moving to a new location like this, I mean, you got to think about camera systems. You got to think about all the interesting infrastructure you have in that building anyway.
Yeah. And that burden fell on me quite a bit with trying to figure out, because an architect company is not going to come in. They'll do what you want with, hey, I want a wall here and an office here. Yeah. It was a list of ongoing items, cameras, networking, computers, keys, things like that. It is a long list of items. However, that Market Street address is going to take minimal. I think there's 3 or 4 walls to be built, some upgraded steel doors in the back of the building. And from there, just kind of a facelift, new carpet, some paint, things of that nature, and it'll serve the deputies with a lot more room, privacy for interviews, things of that nature. So we're really excited about it. Plus, it's got a large basement for a meeting room and evidence room that'll be constructed. So that'll be great.
Great. Well, some upgrades right there, and facelift stuff, that's easy, and that stuff can be done pretty quickly. So that's great to know. Some remodeling being done for the jail that'll be coming for the Christian County Sheriff's Department. The location, the address for that one, the new location.
So the new operations for the deputies would be 214 West Market.
Cool.
It's right up from the corner library.
Amazing. Awesome. So in our last minute or so here, let's talk a little bit about the Christian County Sheriff's app. It's been doing what you wanted it to do, Chief Deputy. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Yeah. So now we're looking about going on 6 months.
Cool.
The numbers continue to grow, and we're, like I said before, I'm going door to door, presenting flyers, doing meetings, stuff like that. We've recently added the Crime Stoppers of the Week, working with them, and weekly that gets updated. Seems to really be going well. It's got a great response. I think in the last 2 weeks alone, we've had almost 9 individuals submit in a secure link to Vacation Patrol.
Sweet.
So those houses will get checked through the holiday weekend, stuff like that. And it's got a great response and really building some steam. Really excited about that.
It's so great to hear, especially around this time of year. Didn't even consider this is a big travel time for citizens, and this is exactly where you're going to see that spike in use of the Christian County Sheriff's app in things like vacation time. And we only got about 10 seconds left here, but any last words for the Christian County Sheriff?
I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Chief Deputy, thank you so much for being here. That is Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Department. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you so much to our stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. Thank you for listening.
Your information station, WTIM.
News, I'm Rich Thomason. As the Trump team challenges the Colorado Supreme Court ruling barring Mr. Trump from the state's GOP primary ballot, some other blue states, California among them, are looking at trying to block Mr. Trump as well.